Hi there, and welcome to Lady Katryn's damage guide. It's taken me a little while to put the thoughts into how to best explain the damage that actually calculates E&M puzzles. And I'd like to start by explaining the fact that I'm not going to be using high-powered heroes to do this. It's taken me a long time to get exactly the same statted heroes that I'm going to be using to do this demo, and I'm going to be using it against a consistent target. So I'm actually going to be picking actually a very low level boss because I'm using very low level heroes to do this demonstration. But I have sufficient now to be able to actually do this demo. So what I'd like to explain first of all is the fact that I'm going to be using 3-star trainer heroes. Every single trainer hero of every single colour actually has exactly the same stats. They have 290, 290, 550, which makes them perfect for actually demoing the effect of stacking colours, playing with different colours against a colour, and explaining basically the combination of why there's so much debate against 3-2, mono, 4-1. So how many colours of each colour? That's right. How many heroes of each colour do you take? Right, okay. So, so that's just the explanation of why we're doing this. And what we're going to be doing is actually using a Season 1 map to do this. And actually, really right on early, there was a big dragon in 1.5. Now, most of you probably haven't played through this apart from the tutorial. But actually, I think it's a very valid target. It's a single target. It's a known quantity. So we're going to be using this to actually demonstrate both average damage, damage stacking, and why this is important. And I'll explain that with all the damage up and damage downs as well throughout this process. So, if we were to take just one hero, and I will just find my hero. So it's red, okay? So the dragon is red. It's a known quantity being red. We know we've got 290 damage and 290 defense. Okay, so this is all going to be explained. I apologize for a very long time. Okay, so I'm going to first of all start by taking just one yellow hero. The reason I'm taking yellow is the fact that he doesn't feature in the same colour wheel. Okay, so the rules of this are where the colour wheel is not either strong or weak against that. So either it is the same colour or one from the other colour wheel. The colour wheels being red, green and blue or purple and yellow. Then they deal 1 times the base damage. Okay. The other thing that I'm going to do this is to make sure that I take the weakest troop I have, which happens to be a common villager, which gives no boost whatsoever. So this is to explain the fact this is just pure base damage. Okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to fight. So, one of the advantages of taking multiple colours is obviously the fact that it doesn't matter then, or it matters less if you're not going full rainbow, as to which colours that you can match tiles of. As it happens, there's a good 3 match. And you will see here that the average damage will be somewhere around the 1920 mark, really. 18, 19, 20. Which is something that we can then, in theory, calculate eventually the actual defense stats of this dragon, which is never revealed here. But it's irrelevant for a baselining experiment. So here you'll see 17s, 18s, 19s, and the occasional 20. I'm not going to use the specials. The specials are not something that we're particularly interested in this demonstration. But here you'll see a very consistent 17, 18-ish damage. Okay, and he doesn't do much damage, and I could play on and on and on and on. The point is that with just the one yellow hero, I've got a very consistent uh, performance of damage. So let me just run away from that. So Now if I went back into this and actually took, I'm actually going to have to take one with the troop. So I'm just going to show an experiment here. If I took one with a low-level troop, just because I've done have more of these, and take the one with just 4% boost, okay? So I'm in theory going to attack a 290 plus 4%, so about 11 extra damage. So I'm about 301 attack, okay? So if I now attack and do 3 tiles, I'm still averaging pretty much the same, okay? You may see the occasional 20 now start to appear, and there you go, 20, 21, 22. So you can see there that instantly the troopers, they had an impact to it, even though it's only a small increase. The damage is relatively high as a percentage increase in actual damage there. So I'm just going to come out here again, and now I'm going to take 2 of them. So I'm just going to find that one. The second one. Apologies for the roster. Okay, right. And just to speed up the demonstration, I'm actually going to take 2 purples as well. Okay, just to demonstrate the fact that doesn't matter. And I'm going to take 1 green. Okay, so this is a 2-2-1 formation where 2 of them aren't on the colour wheel at all, and green is weak against the opposition. Okay, and what I do need to do is I need to change all the troops down to the weakest possible troop, or the weakest troops, I should say. So we're looking at about 20-ish damage. That's not per troop. 20, 21. Okay, so in theory, as I've got 2 yellows and 2 purples, what I should now be seeing is somewhere in the region of 44, 45 damage per tile for these. Bear in mind that rounding may average it slightly up. And because this is a weak hero against this, what we know is that if you're strong, the damage should be double, and if you're weak, the damage should be half. So I should be seeing in the region of 9 or 10 for the green tiles when I get them. But I should be seeing in the region of 45-ish for the others. So let's just take that and see. Perfect. We've got loads of greens, so this will be a good example. There you go, there's your 9s and 10s. And now I've got some yellows and purples. So if I just fire those off, what we can see there is that indeed they are all in the sort of 50s range, which actually shows that there's a slight advantage actually given in the game to where you can't stack colours. And actually, I've actually seen this in a lot of effects where actually the colour stacking gives a minor advantage, but it is down to a degree of randomness. But we are seeing, and you will see, a slight increase in damage compared to just simply doubling. Which is why mono teams, when we come to it, you'll see they're actually hit substantially harder than the sum of their individual parts. There appears to be a hidden colour bonus for that. Obviously, the more colours you run, the more matches you can make, and the more chance you have of making a sufficient match. The downside with that comes to the fact that obviously you haven't got all of the tiles to play with. The majority of those will then do 1. And this is where the risk versus reward and actually the mana bar speeds become very important for your mana bars and their mana bars. So damage itself, I'd just like to explain, I don't believe is actually from tiles the be all and end all unless you really want to go high risk, high reward. So in fact, I'm just going to quickly finish this Titan off to save myself some XP. Here you can see the red dealing damage, and interestingly, it deals damage pretty equally because there is no particular attack strength to it. Right. So now if I take mono, which we're now thinking should be, well, if 2's 50, then we might be seeing 120, 130. So now I'm going to go and try that. So that's with 1.5. And what we want to take is 5 of the same colour. So hopefully I've got 5 of the same colour. My feeling is it might actually be greens, so we might have to halve my expectation. But it's still very, very valid. Yeah, it is in fact greens. I've got 5 of. So we're going to have to do this and expect less. So try and keep these as low as possible. So I've got a couple of very low increased troops here. So unfortunately, we're going to have to see a minor increase. In fact, I can lower that a bit. But we've got a 10% and an 8%. So in reality, that will average that out. We're probably 6% of one troop over, so 1% higher. It's not significant. But what we should be seeing, because we've now got 5, they were doing 10-ish each, so that's 50. And we'll just watch the expansion of damage as it comes up. There appears to be an inherent hidden colour bonus to these, because if you look at those damage, you'll see that those are high 60s, low 70s, which is not what you'd expect from 9s or 10s for 5 of them. So one of the interesting things is that it's completely undocumented, the way it works, but it is consistent that colour stacking certainly has an improvement effect on the amount of damage dealt. I haven't actually done the maths to work out exactly how much it is, but it is certainly a degree of percentage when you stack those up. You can see there that it is very consistently higher in terms of damage. So I'm just going to kill it at some point. So I just thought it was worth pointing out the fact that because of that, therefore, running troops with more than one of the same colour does have an advantage, which is undocumented and hidden. Therefore, having tried this, and this is why a lot of people end up running 3-2 as their combinations of 3 of one and 2 of the other, is the fact that what they're looking to do is spread the risk of not having none of the tiles that you want, but actually having some of the tiles that you want. Now, because this comes down to mana bars going forward, and who can fire off the mana quick enough, there is an argument to say that if you can have 3 of your big hitters, or big, slower heroes with high tile damage all stacked up as one colour, then in theory, if you can have 2 others which are both very fast speed with a degree of troop boost to take them down to just 6 tiles, that will help your team keep alive, then actually taking 2 of 2 different colours, so having a 3-1-1, does appear to be, assuming that either of those 2 will keep your team alive for slightly longer, actually a degree of optimum tile strategy. That does rely on playing the board sufficiently and taking sufficient hits from the opposition to actually survive. But I do think that that is actually something that's worth considering, and definitely something that is of interest. But yes, there is that hidden colour stacking bonus. Um, Troops make an absolutely massive difference. So let's go on to actually demonstrate what happens when we take some extra attack power, for example. So, sorry, what I'm going to do now is demonstrate with some items what the impact of taking those items is. Just need to stack this up. Okay. So what I'd like to do is take a Dragon Banner, which is a 30% boost. I haven't actually got any attack banners, so we'll take the 30%. It's nice and easy to calculate 30%. So we'll do that, and what we'll do is we'll take that and just attack with that using the greens again. So remember, we were looking at about 70 damage with a full mono stack. So if I add 30% to the attack, am I going to get 30% increase in damage? So 30% of 70 is going to take me much nearer to the sort of well 95 bar. So let's see if that actually happens. So let me just set up a match, and then I will fire my Dragon Banner. So I should be getting somewhere around 95 damage if I've done this, and it applies to the damage. Otherwise, there's another calculation that actually applies behind the scenes. And there you can see 97, 100, 110. So the reason behind that is the fact that there is, once again, it appears to be some degree of multiplier when you get a total damage attack greater than their defense. But it isn't obvious as to exactly how that actually works, but 30% is way more gained in terms of attack, in terms of damage that you get here. So it's well worth knowing the fact that boosting attack is very, very efficient. I will try and actually craft a cheeky harpoon and waste it in a second to show you the damage reduction as well. But I will just finish this off because I might as well strap any little bit of XP that's available. We'll just finish this quickly. If you have any questions, by the way, please do just message them in the comments. Like and follow my videos if you do like them. It's much appreciated. I do this for fun, and I hope to explain to other people my findings. I do also test in the beta program here, and we'll talk about it. I obviously can't show you for contract reasons, but yeah, that's something that I would love to do. So I just need to quickly craft a quick cheeky harpoon here. It's important. Right, okay, so as I'm hopeful that most of you will know, harpoons work by reducing defense, and for this controlled experiment, it's the only way I can guarantee what the stats should be. If I take the harpoon, as you'll see, if they're stunned, they will get a minus 30% defense. So just like the plus 30% damage here, if I take the minus 30%, do I end up with the same damage calculation? So is attack worth the same as defense? And that's what we're about to find out. So obviously I have to stun the creature first to be able to give it the defense, but that shouldn't be too difficult. I will make sure I have a green set up though, because this is always a risk running mono, is the fact that you don't have the in fact I can't stun it because it doesn't stun. uh, that's an epic faux pas, isn't it? All that does is it reduces its attack. Otherwise, oh well. That's nice to have small greens, isn't it? And just prove those are still 70 on. I will have to take Buddy then to be able to do this demonstration. So what we'll have to do is baseline Buddy quickly. Let's just do that. So Buddy is a defense down character. And in fact, we'll baseline with Buddy and Evelyn because I would like to show you elemental defense down as well. So if I take Evelyn, yeah. So she has a negative 54% defense for elemental. And here we're going to put Buddy wherever he is. Probably past him. Oh, he won't be my type until actually. So, let's go find Buddy. There it is. Right. Couldn't see. So yeah, that was a big waste of 10 gems, but okay, what I will take though is some mana because we might need to charge up this. Okay, so let's get some baseline damage first. Perfect. So baseline damage is in the region of 127, 130. Okay, so that's the amount we're looking to tweak and record against. So I can actually now power up Buddy. Now Buddy's does that to 34% down. Okay, so 34% down, and I'm doing 180 to 190 damage. So just remember that 180 to 190 damage. From 130. So if I now boost by 30%, which is just under the 34% defense down, and we get about 180 damage. So it does appear that actually attack and defense are in fact very similar. What happens, however, I don't know if this type will actually take the hits, is if we reduce the defense and reduce the elemental defense for it. So let's give that a go. Yeah, and actually then crack on with this. So what do we have here? Oh, apart from very nice board, what I might do then is just automatically actually go and feed her up. Right. So this is minus 54%. And then if I fire some tiles, you can see that about 180, and there I got some nearly 230. What appears to be happening is the fact that the random amounts, the window of damage actually gets substantially larger, um, where you reduce the damage. So that random amount of damage that if you're right close to overcoming appears to be much wider, but it's a substantial improvement. But I have not seen any categoric proof that attack boost or defense crippling is any better if you're running 5 of the same colour. Because the attack is slightly weaker with less than 5 heroes, defense down helps everyone, whereas attack up helps only those colours with obviously those tiles. So it is something to consider, is the fact that in theory defense down is slightly advantageous over attack up, but actually the stats say that there's not a lot in it. And I hope that's been a good guide for you. So thank you.